Hello friends and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to discuss about the impact of data privacy for businesses. To begin with, let's first define what data privacy means, and the word privacy comes from the word private. Private is something that I own. It is for me, my property, my family and friends. It's something that is exclusive to me, something that can help you identify me. That is something which is private for me. And it is my choice whether I am sharing it with you or anyone else and for what purpose I am doing that. That exactly gets translated into the definition of data privacy. In particular, because we are talking about data and data which is purely personal information here. Okay, so data privacy means my right to choose what is it that I want to share, with whom do I want to share this, what is my purpose of sharing this, and is that party allowed to share my full or incomplete information, partial information with a third party? If yes, then what is the purpose of that sharing that goes to the next party? Right? That is exactly what is data privacy. It brings in that legal aspect as to if my data is inappropriately shared or misused by anyone, then how do I protect myself? Is it important for business? We generally believe businesses do business data, but there's nothing called business data because everything belongs or relates to some individuals, and all businesses capture a lot of personal information. Begin with employees. You have all their records, their complete personal information, their payroll, their behavior, their performance, everything is available with any business. Vendors. The vendors you work with individuals. You have their contact details, right? You have the contract details. Your customers, again, the people you deal with, you have their personal information. In both these relationships, a lot of time the work is outsourced to a third party manpower, right? Each individual manpower working on your project, whether as a customer to your customer or as a vendor from your vendor, both have a lot of personal information, their contact details, maybe even their date of birth. In most such outsourcing cases, even their payrolls are also shared or known to each other, right? But they are shared with the purpose of being within the framework of invoicing and PF details and all, right? They are not shared to make them public, and that's what data privacy is. That's what an organization has to maintain, that the data they are collecting and processing is not shared outside. This data could be of their business associates, like their consultants. Again, you'll have their contact details, right? Their prospects, people whom they are talking to and exploring a possibility of doing business. So while you otherwise could say a business has business data, but business data has a lot of personal data, right? A lot of personal information. So you need to be careful about it. Why? You need to put in effective data management practices. How would you do that? You'll be very careful collecting the data. That's what's being careful collecting the data. Most important thing which all organizations are trying to do and should do is collect only what is required. Don't collect what is not required, right? Apply good databases, good file systems and servers, store their data very, very efficiently, and apply data handling best practices. For example, it could be, someone comes for an interview and you reject them. Do you still need their complete personal information that you have? Or can you have a policy which says, you did not hire the person, he is rejected, I may like to retain only his name, right? And some identifier, so that if he comes in again, then I can correlate. But do I need to have his past employment information, his date of birth, his family details stored with me? Ideally not, because when a new person would come, whenever the same person would come after 1 year, his past employment details might change. His educational qualifications might also change because he might have added some skill sets, right? So there has to be an effective policy that says that someone who could not even become a part of my organization, I'm not going to keep the data for him. That's one of the very, very basic examples, right? Someone who has left my organization, you sign an NDA also for maybe 2 years, that non-disclosure agreement that he is going to not talk about this company to anyone for 2 years after the employment terminates. Do you want to retain his data forever? Right? So there are all compliances as to what category of data for how long do you want to retain. So businesses can be careful in saying, I don't even want to retain so that I avoid the risk of breach, right? So collect what is required, retain what is required, remove all excess things and handle them very, very efficiently so that the chances of breach are reduced. Why? You are very, very accountable for the data you collect. You need to have proper policies. You are answerable to the third party whose data you are collecting. Imagine someone gives an interview in your organization and he comes to know that some other organization is aware of this entire thing. Even if you now want to employ him, he would have doubts whether you are a reputable organization to work with. He may decide not to work with you, right? And he may talk to several other people. So you need to be very, very careful, and you should apply these proper policies department wise to handle their respective data. It should demonstrate that there is an extreme transparency in your organization and you follow data handling best practices. Accountability also brings in a very key aspect. If and when there is a breach, it is properly reported, it is properly documented, and necessary action is properly taken to ensure that the breach is not repeated with anyone else, right? And then you show your commitment towards handling and management of that data. And when there is no breach or action has been timely taken, properly taken in event of a breach, then the chances of losing your reputation is reduced. People know mistakes happen everywhere, but then you are prepared to handle those mistakes and those problems or those thefts as quick as possible, minimizing the impact, negative impact of the data breach. Automatically it wins your trust both with your internal stakeholders like your employees and vendors and customers, and external stakeholders like your consultants and your future prospects with whom you are going to work. It could be external shareholders also, depending on the size of the business, right? It could be a listed company. It is also important because you need to meet your compliances. There are legal laws and regulations around data privacy now, and you need to be very careful about them. There are very heavy fines. The cost of handling a breach is very high. The cost of repeating and cost of keep repeating a breach is much, much higher than the cost of just having a breach. And the worst part of it is that once a breach is known to the public, there is a huge loss of reputation that can damage you in any side of your business. You need to do a lot of effort to get back into the same business groove. Therefore, it is very, very important for a business to see how they handle their data more effectively and efficiently, and they are able to maintain the privacy of the data for their internal and external teams. The data privacy brings in laws which give the individual a control about his personal information. He shares it with you with a consent and for a definite purpose. May or may not mean allow you to share it further, and the laws cover him against misuse of his data and against wrong sharing of his data without his consent, without a clear purpose. So all businesses need to be very careful. They need to apply all the data handling best practices so that data breaches are minimized and they are always available, ready to handle any breach that comes in. This is what I wanted to talk about, the impact of a data privacy issue for a business. This is a regular YouTube channel. Regular content is uploaded, so you can subscribe to stay updated on more and more videos about data privacy. If you like the video, press the like button, but please do ensure that you give a feedback in the comment section. That would help me improvise my content for future. Thank you.